So now what do I do? Well, I guess there's only one thing. There's something I'd like to know. Are you real? Can you feel?
Hi friends, I'm Prairie Vintage. My name's Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube, and I use spirits and my intuition, the tarot, to communicate energies to you guys, fabulous viewers. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome. I am so thrilled that you guys found me. I hope you guys stay and that this reading resonates with you. And for those of you guys who are returning, I'm so blessed to be here, and I can't wait to get into your reading. I did record this yesterday, and it didn't record. I've tried filming a Valentine's Day reading and it didn't record. So I ended up doing a collective reading instead, but I am going to attempt to do this reading again. Clearly, it couldn't be released for whatever reason. So what we're looking at is what's happening next in your love life. And if you are single, not in a connection right now, currently, then we'll take a look at the person energy coming towards you. Okay. And if you're already involved in a connection, then this will take a look at the shift of energy in that connection. Okay. So this is meant to be more on the romantic side, but it's just energy. Okay. So you apply it to the scale of energy that's suiting your connection or situation. Okay, but I will read it exactly sort of as it's pulling through here, and it's up to you to attribute or ascribe the energy to how you see fit. Okay, so if the energy of the person who pulls through here is someone that you don't know already, then it could still be your pile. Could be somebody coming toward you that's new, and if that's the case, then I do suggest that you ask Spirit for what you'll see, feel, and hear throughout that reading to know whether that is your pile or not. Okay, so we'll ask for the shifts and changes in your love life, and then we'll take a look at the energy of the person in regards to what's coming in or who you're involved with. All right, so beautiful angels, these are the decks I'll be using. I'll put a link right here to these decks specifically for those of you guys interested in going through the cards, energetically charging the cards for future readings. And I'll put a link to the pick an option, and then I'll put a link to the separate 3 piles, and I will see you guys at the card selection. All right, I thought we were picking cards, but we're actually picking from these stones. For the 3 options, we have the glass heart speckled paperweight, option number 2, we have the selenite trophy looking stone. So it's very bright in here, so it's glowing. I don't know if I close the curtain, if it'll look better. Let me see. Not much better. Anyway, option number 3. All right, now I can't fix the curtain. Option number 3, we have the iridescent ribbed heart paperweight. All right, so take as long as you need. And if you're drawn to multiple piles, you definitely could be connecting to your own energy, meaning it's going to be a flipped pile, and the description of the person is you, And then the shift will be more in regards to what the person coming towards you would be experiencing. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you, because I'm just reading energy that's tied to you or connected to you somehow. So it's up to you to apply it how you see fit. Okay, but don't force it to fit. And it's absolutely fine to not resonate with any reading today. And that's okay. Lots of readings on YouTube that you can go find. Okay, so take your time to pick the pile, and pick as many piles as you need to, as long as it resonates and you're drawn to it. And I will see you guys at your pick. Pile 1, you guys pick the green speckled heart glass paperweight. And we ask Spirit, what is happening next in your love life? Okay, so whether you're in a connection or not in a connection, this energy is going to pull who is coming towards you or involved in your love life here. Okay, so if there's an existing connection, apply it to that situation or circumstance. Okay, if this is an energy of someone you haven't connected with, could be somebody coming in towards you. Okay, but you should resonate with the overall messaging that comes through, because we are looking at the shift of energy and what's sort of happening next in your world. Okay, so keep an open mind, but if it doesn't feel like it's resonating for you and you don't want to take that message, then it's not your pile. Okay, so we have slow down, pause, and allow things to unfold. And look at the 2 candles over here. So we definitely can have twin flames here with the 2 flames. Interesting. Okay, and then we have ascending. Oh, wow. If you guys connected with yesterday's collective, this is exactly the blue with the sun that I was seeing in the scrying channeling that I did yesterday. Exactly this image. Fascinating. Yeah, very fascinating. Okay, and then we have message. And she's looking at her phone. And we have silence. Okay, and then we have healing, 89 and 8. Mystical experience, growth level, Kundalini awakening. Definitely is this ascending energy. Okay, deep forgiveness, miracle, divine justice, energy release and submission to the divine. Type 8, the challenger instinctive center between strength and weakness. Pluto energy with the black here, which is all about the shadow, the subconscious. Okay, and then we have the solar plexus, 45 and 9. Neutral event, ego level break, step out, time out, silence, coming out again. Pause, reflection, and interruption. Type 9, the peacemaker instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. All right, so we have some Leo, Aquarius, Virgo, and Cancer energy pulling through this pile. Another 9 here too. I didn't notice that. So 99. 99 is a master number, being the change you wish to see and helping humanity to release what no longer works. Really very strong twin flame vibes here. All right. So we have 90, which is 9 and 3. Okay, another 9. 999. So 9s are all about fruition, completion, fulfillment. Okay, 9's also Hermit and Moon energy. And so the Hermit is introspection, reflecting, healing, going inwards, finding truths. Okay, and the Moon is confusion, but it's also intuition, emotions. It's the hidden. It's navigating without seeing or understanding. Okay, so we have the solar plexus, peacemaker, wish for recognition, reconciliation, mediator, agreement, listening to yourself, awareness of your value. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. Okie dokie, 8990. We have succession here. That's fascinating every time I see that, because there's so many cards. And for that to come in succession, meaning there's something unfolding step by step, slowly here. Okay, so we have 56 with the gem, and 56 is 11, and 11 is a very spiritual divine number. Okay, represents divine inspiration, synchronicities, the encouragement to keep going. We have the gem here surrounded by all this black and white, can of worms. Okay, all this faceted gem here with all these beautiful colors. Some of you guys might have been drawn to pile 3. Okay, could be a message in there for you as well with this, the colors I'm seeing in this one, matching the other stone. And so we have chaos 51, which is a 6. 6 is lovers. We have Gemini, Capricorn energy, but chaos definitely is exactly as it sounds. Okay, so confusion, maybe nothing really being clear. And look at the maze in our head here. Absolute chaos here. Having to navigate through. And like I said, the moon was representing as potentially like confusion or having to navigate with the intuition, which could be completely chaotic at times. Spider webs can talk about creation, like working with spirits to create. Okay, and then we have connect, and we have 2 people with, connected by the heart here. But they're both facing different directions here, but they're touching. Interesting. And then we have love. Oh my goodness. Unconditional love. Self-love, oneness, passion, affection, attraction. Okay. And then we have very soon, clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. Wow. And then we have child orphan, light attributes, independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering fear of survival, fear of surviving, shadow attributes, feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation, seeking inappropriate surrogate families. Alrighty. And then we have the moon and Pluto, which is exactly what you're feeling with all the 9s, moon. And then the shadow Pluto energy, which is already pulling through. So we have some Scorpio and some Cancer energy. Also some more Leo with the 19th. And that's sun energy. And sun talks about enlightenment. Okay, things coming to light. It talks about joy. Talks about the inner child here. Things becoming very, very clear and joyous. Okay, and completions. So the moon and sun also is masculine, feminine, which takes me back to the twin flame. This is very clear, your messaging, but I will pull some tarot sort of to close out the reading when we get there, rather than right now. And let me just make sure I don't have, sometimes cards are left in there, and then I'm going to shift it over. So if you want to go click straight away on your channeled message, you can do so. I'll put the timestamp below, and I generally like to sit with the energy before I begin to channel it to see what pulls through here, okay? I will see you guys there. Okay, pile number 1. Wow. Remember, I don't know if you listened to my intro, but I attempted to do this reading yesterday on Valentine's Day, and I didn't get a message quite like this one. So maybe this message was really, really meant to come forward, okay, for you. Of course, if you resonate with this pile, it is very specific, so it might not be everyone's message here, okay? I do feel for this pile that if you don't resonate with there already being an existing connection, then this might not be your pile. Okay, even though I did advertise this as who's coming in, because I don't feel like this is some new random person coming in at all, okay? This really feels like a separation. You've been out of contact with somebody, or they're very distant. And I do feel there's a lot of love between you and this person. Okay, this feels very, very, very much like a twin flame connection. Even if you don't identify as that being the type of connection, it's a deep, spiritual, soulful connection that's being reflected on both your sides. And what's being reflected is healing and unconditional love, and working through abandonment wounds and shadows. Okay, shadow when it comes to our deepest emotions, our fears, connecting with our intuition, having to navigate with the intuition. And so I feel like what's happening next year is you're going to hear from this person, okay? But Spirit's really emphasizing the reason for this pause or this break. This timeout is much needed, okay? So it's like a battle between, like the God and the devil, or if you want to call it good and evil, if you want to call it the conscious self or the higher self, and the egoic self. Okay, this is really what it is, because I feel like there's still an ego here. And this ego is one that must be seen through and worked through and transmuted through a process of experience. And so your experience with this person is very uncomfortable and confusing, and it seems very chaotic. And so we can read into it clearly, black and white, and say, this person is this, and this. And what I see here is somebody who's either avoidant, disconnected, fearful, whatever you want to project onto that person. And that would absolutely be an accurate statement, because I do feel both people are an ego here. And I feel like Spirit is saying the Hermit, which is all these nines you're getting in your reading, is one of healing, okay? But it is one in which we aren't necessarily outwardly looking, seeking, or projecting, or trying to analyze, or trying to massage an outcome, but we're going inwards in order to really be honest and reflect on our own shadow. Because I think our shadow here is a desire to attain an answer, clarity, where it's going, how it's going to go. And I do feel like it's very heavy to carry an uncertainty, because the mind likes certainty. Okay, if it doesn't have certainty, it doesn't feel safe, and it triggers wounds in the shadow. And so it isn't because we want to be right. It might not even be that we're totally like attached, but it's the mind must know, and it's like an obsessive must know energy that overrides, because the fear is very strong when the shadow kicks on. It's like an energy that overtakes how we engage and what we're saying to ourselves and the peace. So it rocks our peace. So this connection is one of an awakening of the true self. So you guys might be going through a Kundalini awakening. And if you're not familiar, you could connect this to a spiritual awakening. Okay, but at the end of the day, it's the energy that has to transmute through the shadow and through the beliefs has to go through a process. And so this process happens exactly as Spirit intends it to happen. And so it must unfold naturally. And Spirit sometimes will remove whoever you're supposed to be sort of experiencing in front of you in order for there to be integration, reflection, and all of this stuff. Okay, then when you come together, there will be an upgrade of the connection. And this is exactly what's happening. So you haven't heard from your person, most likely. And if you do, they're not saying much of anything. You're most likely waiting. You're not sure if you should reach out. You're checking your phone. You're wanting to hear from them. Okay, and in this process, Spirit is saying, kick it back to an internal reflection. This process is one of ascension. This is one of masculine, feminine integration of self, so that two people can come together more healed, and they can see their own shadow and their own abandonment wounds, because I do feel is very deep here. And so I feel like there's very deep emotions coming online here. Okay, and it is one to trigger self-love, self-reflection, for us to really reach the highest state of consciousness that we possibly can in this lifetime, which is oneness. We're all connected, and how to love other, okay, being pulled. And so it's the battle between the ego, the attraction, the passion, and the pulling. And then the heart coming online, knowing a greater truth of oneness, already being connected, not feeling abandoned, and not feeling separate from the person that we love. Because I do feel you feel separate. I do feel that there's a no contact, or just a big pause here. It's like I'm not hearing from this person, and they're not explaining anything and I don't understand, and it's complete chaos here energetically. Okay, and so when we feel the chaos, okay, because like I said, the mind wants certainty, it's like the intuition also goes a little haywire because the fear is really loud, and so we can't really understand what the intuition is coming through. The only thing that pulls through sort of very loud and clear is the shadow fear and the emotions. It's like I need clarity, or I need to hear, or I need certainty, or I feel abandoned or not seen, or I feel like at a loss, I feel confused, I feel like I need to connect, I feel like I want love, I feel like something. Okay, so Spirit is assuring you there's a telepathic connection here, that you guys are already connected. I do feel it is the one sort of soul connected here in two bodies. This is why I do feel it is very twin flame. Okay, and Spirit is saying slow down, meaning don't try to rush outcome. Don't try to cling to any sort of understanding as though it is truthful. And know that the slower it sort of unfolds, the more integration and reflecting that we do in this period of pause, the more we'll start to see. Okay, because there's different aspects of this connection that are absolutely true, even if they seem like they might be very confusing at first. Okay, like contradicting truths, but there's many different ways to sort of engage and see this connection. Okay, so this period is much needed, and so Spirit is saying here, don't rush to make contact, or rush to send a message, or rush to get this person to give you an answer, or to do anything. Okay, and now this doesn't mean reject or refuse and don't contact and stare at your phone all day, because if you are feeling pulled to send a message, then that's what you're being called to do. And only an ego would say this person better reach out to me first. Now, of course, if you feel you've done everything and you're giving this person space and you're not feeling called or pulled, then let this person breathe, because the integration is happening on their side as well. And so the sooner you sort of interrupt this, the less likely they have time to integrate their healings, their understanding. So something's very karmic here with the divine justice, and we're releasing energy that no longer serves us. It's absolutely clear. We're releasing it by way, because of course energy can only transmute. Okay, and so we're transmuting, kind of like an alchemist here, transmuting the pain, the suffering, the shadow, the abandonment into unconditional love, light. Okay, we're ascending through this process of awareness. And this is happening, and it's sometimes very scary and very emotional. Okay, like very emotional here. And like I said during the card layout, we're seeing feeling the sun and the moon here, which is the masculine and the feminine. And so we all carry masculine and feminine. And so if one part of our energy is suppressed or in shadow, then that's the part that we're having to really heal and work through. Okay, the masculine and the feminine, because when we say masculine and feminine balance, we're not saying we need to be exactly 50% of each. Okay, we need to allow the energy to transmute so that the natural state comes through. And so some people are naturally more feminine, some people are naturally more masculine. Okay, but we sometimes develop more masculine traits as a protective thing, and sometimes we develop more feminine traits. And to swing too much to the masculine or to the feminine is not necessarily balanced or helpful, because it protects us in some way, we think, the ego thinks, from maybe opening up, or maybe from stepping up. Okay, and so we're having to know sort of what is our natural state when we're fully balanced with the masculine and the feminine, and what is the ego and the shadow, and been sort of created within me as a child, because I developed unhealthy ways of coping in relationship here. And so I fear abandonment, or I avoid connection, I run. Okay, so I do feel like there is two souls here, okay, you and your person, and I do feel like Spirit's acknowledging this torturous period, if you want, of confusion and everything that sort of comes with it. And Spirit's also identifying the blessing. And so, no, you're not crazy. Yes, this is a blessing. Yes, there's unconditional love. Yes, your person has deep love for you. And I'm not one to enforce any limerence or you being stuck on any person here. So if you're stuck on a person that is not you're not connecting with the spiritual side of this whole thing, like the telepathy, understanding the deep spiritual meaning of this connection, and this being something that's completely overtaking your nervous system in some way with this Kundalini awakening. It's a full body sort of experience. And this isn't your message. Okay, this is like a complete can of worms. Like, look at her hair and look at this gem. Completely submersed in a can of worms, okay, with chaos. It's like I have no idea is coming and going, so confused. I'm not sure. Okay. This isn't like something that we have any sort of certainty on. This is complete confusion. I don't know. And so we might be totally like in the dark here. And it's like, I wish I knew. I have no idea. I'm totally confused. This person's energy is not even making any sense. This connection makes no sense. But there's a strong pull and desire for a reconciliation. And we have no idea why. It's like, if this person is confusing, if this person is not aligned with something that I feel in my ego or in my shadow that I need, and they're creating this sort of heaviness for me, why am I pulled to this person? Okay, but it would be the veil, the shadow, and the lack of clarity that's creating this view of this person, that this person is someone here who's creating some form of threat, because nobody can threaten you. Okay, and so Spirit really wants you to see the truth of your energy. And that would mean many experiences, maybe of separation, maybe of coming together, maybe of disappointments, maybe of experiencing bliss. But either which way, there's so many different experiences that will paint the big picture. I am feeling very, very heavy Kundalini awakening. I feel your chakras could be definitely aligning here, which would mean we have to transmute a lot of the shadow, a lot of the blocks as we go through the alignment here. Okay, and like I always say, the bottom three are the only real chakras that we can have blocks in. Okay, we can't have a blocked heart or a blocked throat or a blocked third eye. It's just when we have blocks in the lower, the prana, a life force energy, cannot flow up, because energy flows up, and that would be the Kundalini, the snake rising. And so if there's any blocks, that snake is going to burn through a lot of the blocks that are happening in order to reach the crown opening or the divine enlightenment here. Okay, and so I always show this for those of you guys who haven't seen this before. I apologize to the ones who have, but okay, when we look at the chakra system, these are the lower chakras, or the matrix chakras, okay, the ego or the physical, the lower self. And then we have the heart, which is in the center, neutral. And then we have the spiritual chakras, which are the higher chakras. So root, sacral, and the solar plexus. And then we have the heart, the throat, the third eye, and then the crown. So what happens during the Kundalini, the snake energy, okay, whatever you want to call it, the life force, the prana, is awakened, and it burns through all the energy. And so we'll have like a crown opening, which is we get downloads, we're connected to the divine. Now, it can happen any which way, your Kundalini, because they're not all the same. Okay. But what is most likely happening here is when we have blocks, one of these chakras are completely having some trauma. Okay, and in your reading here, we're seeing this child orphan, which means abandonment, which is a block in the root. Okay, abandonment wounds is a block in the root, and this is a need to feel safe and secure. Of course, we all have a need to feel safe and secure, but when there's a block, it's like we're never feeling safe and secure, even when we are safe and secure. We feel very ungrounded and unstable here, and there's beliefs that we carry, okay, that aren't necessarily true, and that trigger this wound. And so we might attach and cling, or we might avoid and not want to open up because we feel more secure in our own energy rather than opening up and giving that to someone else to run with and then drop the ball. So we protect ourselves. However, we protect ourselves, and then we get totally in this chaos energy, because it's like, because Spirit's now challenging us, saying, hey, unconditional love doesn't block, doesn't attach, doesn't want transactional, isn't focused on outcome, is not full of ego. What are you going to do with this thing? How are you going to deal with this person? Okay, so then the sacral, okay, so troubles with intimacy, troubles with opening up sexually, and This is our creative chakra. So we might get inspired, to create art, to really like speak our own authentic, not necessarily speak, but allow our authentic self to be seen and understood by us, because we're all unique and creative here. Okay, but when we're blocked here, it's like there's too much fear in allowing oneself to creatively come online and go after things and do things. Okay, same with this solar plexus energy. So a lack of confidence, and it could be the opposite, where we have too much pride. We have too much masculine energy, where we want to sort of be the doer of everything and create outcome and this sort of thing. Okay, so none of these are good egos to have. Okay, there's no such thing as a good ego. There's just the ego, which is an illusion. And then there's the transmutation and seeing through the ego. So anyone who says good ego, it's like, no, it's because everything is shadow and light. But at the same time, it's like an ego is the illusion. It's the false self. It's the belief in an identity that doesn't exist. So it's like saying there's a good Santa Claus, but the bad Santa Claus doesn't exist. Like, no, Santa doesn't exist. Ego doesn't exist as an entity. It creates the illusion. And it's what creates our belief in separation. It creates a sense of an I. Okay, it's not what creates our independent, unique self, because our unique self will always come through the heart, through our vessel. And so some people feel like if they eradicate the ego, all of a sudden they're these robots and everyone's the same. No, not at all. We're all very, very different here. But what we transmute is the blocks and the shadows. Whether we dress them up as good, I'm confident, I'm independent, I don't need anyone. That's shadow. Okay, that's shadow. So once these shadows, blocks are transmuted, the Kundalini energy rises, gets to the heart energy, and this is a heart opening. Okay, now the misnomer is that it's blocked. It's like not necessarily it's blocked, it's just energy couldn't get up to the heart. So the heart was closed. The heart couldn't be fully connected to the life force energy. And the heart only knows one thing. It opens to the truth, and it doesn't allow anything that's not true through it. So it won't allow any ego, resentments, disappointments, separation, consciousness through the heart. The heart will not allow it to go through. And so this is why we must focus on clearing the energy, so that when it gets to the heart, we're learning about unconditional love. The heart is expansive, it's open, and then that's when we start to let the energy flow through the top here, because the top, it could never be blocked. When energy flows nice and strong, we start to get downloads, we start to see through our third eye the truth, and we start to be able to walk and talk our authenticity. Okay, but it takes some time for us to transmute the energy so that there's energy flow. So depending on where your blocks are, you can have a block that doesn't allow the energy to flow up into the spiritual chakras, and it gets in the way of this ascension. It gets in the way of the Kundalini. It gets in the way of the heart opening and learning about unconditional love, because we're too much in pride, we're too much in fear, we're too much in needing the security. Okay, so we must ask questions. That's the hermit. What is the security meaning to me? What am I telling myself about my confidence or my need to be with someone, or my needs to be alone, or whatever the story is? Okay, because is it based on unconditional love, or is it an action based on an ego, based on a fear, and then we dress it up as a preference? Okay, no, because the ego will make any sorts of stories in order to protect itself, to keep it alive, to not be threatened. So, beautiful angel, what's happening here? You're going to hear from your person. If you're wanting to reach out to your person, that's absolutely okay. You'll know because your ego then will say, hey, like, it'll be constantly trying to say, hey, let this person reach out. They're the ones who need this, and they're the ones, and they're the ones. But then the love comes online and says, is this for the ego, or is this for the highest, greatest good? Because I could totally just reach out and speak my piece and be at peace, but not force this person to see my way or force them to say this or that. Okay, and so you'll know where you're sort of at here, but I am going to pull the tarot just to see. Spirit, for pile number 1, regarding the person that is pulling through here for what's next in love for pile 1, is there anything I'm missing here? clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 1. Are they being called or encouraged to make contact, or is our person going to contact them? Okay, there's definitely ego here. Like I said, there's a lot of confusion. Your intuition's coming online. You're wanting reconciliation, but I feel there's a big fat ego getting in the way. Okay, on both sides. So our job is to remove our own blinders, our own stories of justifications or reasons for blocks. Okay, regardless of what we get. So we have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. And we have the 7 Pentacles in the scene of the 7 Swords, and it is in reverse. That's that coming into authenticity, because we see through our own 7 Swords, the sabotage. Okay, but in the Shuffle Tarot, it's represented here with the Pentacles, and 7 Pentacles is like the patience. Okay, pause and allow things to unfold. Patience, we make investment. Here's like, I'm impatient. It's not happening. The new beginning isn't happening, and I'm not seeing it in the 3D. Okay, that's this talking. Complete chaos and overwhelm. Look, 10 Cups with the 10 Wands in the reverse. Talk about for sure confusion here with this Shuffle Tarot. How could the 10 of Cups be the 10 of Wands? Well, it is. I feel like there's a version of an ideal thing that our ego creates in our mind that will only look a certain way. Okay, and then the heaviness here, the overwhelm, there's full of passion, full of desire. And it's like, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm like ready to snap here at any point in time, because we see the potential. We know that there could be a beautiful outcome here, but we're overwhelmed by how it's going to get there, when it's going to happen, why don't I see it in the 3D. Very blocked here, okay? But we're at the end, I feel, of a very important milestone here in this experience. Okay, I feel like you're really going to be seeing certain things about yourself in this connection that is coming online here for you. Okay, but don't get hung up on 3D, and what I see in the 3D. The only thing Spirit wants you to work through is through the self-sabotage and through the impatience and the need to see the thing in the 3D. So we have the Knight of Wands in reverse, and then we have the World. So the Knight of Wands is this inconsistent energy, this fizzle out energy. Okay, we run in with no game plan. It could be an energy of being very hot and cold, or just like, yeah, you could definitely be experiencing a lack of understanding when it comes to your person's intention here. Okay, this is closing out through a process. And the process is one of enlightenment with the Hangman, and also of seeing things differently and seeing through the veil. And so your person could definitely be seeing through their own veil of their own ways of action. Okay, that they're sort of maybe even trying to resist coming forward. It's like, no, I'm just not going to contact, and I'm going to fight this thing. You know, the ego wants to fight it. It's like, you can't fight the truth. The only way we can work with that energy is to become enlightened, to see things differently, to move beyond the ego, to say, hey, how have I been acting, and where were my intentions, and what was the outcome? And am I clinging to a desired outcome to protect myself, that I'm avoidant at all costs or non-committal at all costs, you know? So there's a closure here, but the closure only comes through a process of shadow integration, transmutation, a timeout. Otherwise, we don't see it. Okay, so we might have had an argument. Obviously, if there's a separation, something happened, or there's a disconnect or a non-coming together. And so this causes the reflection. This causes us to pause and think. And so Spirit is saying, have patience. Let there be time to think. Let your person maybe be pulled away if they are pulled away. The passion's still there. It's not going anywhere. Okay, they could have been very overwhelmed, so they need to deal with it. Yeah, the healing is still happening, and there might be a lack of stability when it comes to clarity on this connection. You know, it's like clarity in regards to what this person wants in the 3D. And then we have the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands is in reverse. Okay, and then we have the Ace of Swords, and under that we have the Knight of Cups, represented by the Hermit, which was all over your reading here, the 9s. Virgo energy. I have a lot of hairs here, sorry. So, the beautiful angel. Spirit is saying, only through the reflection will there be a coming forward. I don't know if it's you or your person. It's all different for your journey, because depending on who's sort of overcoming what ego, every time we sort of eat crow or see a little bit beyond the veil, when we sit with ourselves and see our own ego, we always choose truth and clarity, and we'll choose communication. Because when we're sitting in ego, we're sort of fighting ourselves, and I want to be right, and it's not necessarily in the highest truth. And so we try to make it right or validate or justify and sit there and, and this is all about, after reflection, I can express my emotions and come forward with truth. Say, I'm sorry, or say, I understand this now, but this isn't saying truth, meaning I'm at the end game and ultimately I know exactly what I want. No, this is just, I come forward with another beginning here. Okay, after this closure, I come with a new beginning, and this new beginning is the truth. It's the truth of what I was able to conclude in this timeout. So on this timeout, I got clarity. In this timeout, I know a little bit more about where I want to go. And it wasn't from shadow, and it's not from ego, and it's not from wanting to be right, and it's not from attaching to outcome, and it's not from an energy that's just sort of acting on impulse. Okay, and so this is going to happen, but it only happens through a process, because I do feel it's not talking, connecting to the inner child. Okay, this is the little guy from the sun card, and the sun always talks about enlightenment, clarity, joy, and the inner child. Okay, and so it's like, if the inner child hasn't been contacted or sat or reflected upon, then the communication is blocked here, and we can't explore this beautiful Ten of Cups. And also the Ten of Wands in reverse is surrender. And so we must surrender whatever we're thinking in that moment that's driven from ego, that's driven from the false self, that's driven from the strategizing and planning about me, all about me, because all about me wants to see what's happening for me in the 3D. All about me, and I can't see the other person's fear, or why the other person's behaved how they are, or I'm not open-minded enough to see or understand, because the veil is so thick here that I'm just really concerned with what this person is going to say and do for me so I can attain. No, this is why it's blocked. Okay, and so it's blocked until we surrender, and it gets heavier and heavier, because you are in an unstoppable train of energy with this Kundalini awakening, which is the great truth. And the great truth is that we can only see it when we go inwards. We see the error of our ways, or the ego of our ways, or the shadow, or the driver here. Okay? And so we're unstable here, and we're not necessarily healed. So Spirit's saying we need time to reflect. We need to pause. This is also the card of meditation. Okay, so maybe we're not meditating enough. We're not still enough. We're not slow enough. Because this is also one where we're not slow. I'm going too fast energetically. We're getting to the outcome already, and we're just sort of making assumptions, running blind. Okay, and here's the Magician, and the Magician's all about manifestation in the 3D. And it's like, the 3D is not going to manifest here. 3D is the last thing that comes online. Okay, especially when we're having a Kundalini. It's like it's all happening energetically in the 5D. Okay, in the spiritual realms, everything's getting aligned. And then the last thing that comes online is 3D. But we can't force it. Okay, and so I feel like you're in a process of enlightenment here, and I do feel same with your person. Okay, yeah, and also this is the figures, the animals looking at the moon in the traditional tarot. So the moon is the intuition and the emotions and the subconscious, and it's like, wow, really sitting with this higher perspective of my own subconscious. But I got to rise above this situation and rise above the fear and the confusion that's really making me see ground level. It's like, don't see ground level. Reality isn't what it seems. Sit with the higher version of you. Allow yourself to surrender. Connect to your inner child. See what wounds are creating what outcome. And then as a result, you'll see the truth. You'll be able to talk your truth. Okay? And like I said, this is, if it's mirrored, which I do feel it is, then the person on the other side will come forward with their own truth at this point in time about what they experienced, or what they want next, or how they felt, or they're maybe able to express a little bit more than they were in the past. Okay, maybe emotions come online rather than from a place of this fire and this passion and this egoic drive. Comes more from the heart space. Overflowing cup. What's the overflowing cup? The overflowing cup is unconditional love. Okay, but I must have the overflowing cup for myself. I must connect to my own self-love. When I have self-love, I have an overflowing cup. It's not transactional. It's based on me over investing in my own self so that I have enough to give and to speak truths. It's not coming from a clingy, needy place, okay, or from an avoidant place. So Pile number 1, this is your reading. I hope this made sense to you. And I'd like to take this time to thank your higher self and your spirit team, my spirit team, and of course, spirit for this act of divination. Thank you so much. And I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number 2. You guys picked the selenite that was glowing in the pics. The sun is sort of not as bright out my window now, so you might take a good look at that now that the sun's sort of gone. So we're looking at what's next in your love life here, okay? What's going to unfold next. Now, if you are single, not in a connection, this could be this person, a person who is coming towards you, okay? If there is anyone at all coming towards you, of course. But it's going to be looking at the shift in potentially an existing connection, or what's shifting in your love life if there is someone coming in and who this person is about. If you don't know who this person is, it sounds new to you. It could be a new person coming in, okay? But you have to resonate with the energy, sort of being your energy, rather than just cling to the fact that this is some random person coming in that you have no idea about, and it's not your reading, okay? But if you are in a connection and experiencing something with someone, then this could definitely be what's happening next. And this person could definitely pull through here. Okay, so keep an open mind, and you can go straight away to your channeled message, although I will lay these cards out. So best way to tap into your intuition is to sit through this card layout. So we have 46, which is the number 11. No, 4. No, oh my goodness. Can I add? I can speak and I can add. This is number 10. Spend quality time together. Listen and talk to each other. 11 is a very spiritual number, divine inspiration, synchronicity, and the encouragement to keep going. And look at these beautiful people, little fairy people. It feels so magical here. I love this energy. Yeah, I am seeing grapes. They look like Concord grapes. I don't know if that's a Canadian thing, but I don't know, maybe wine has something to do with it. Grapes, it definitely could symbolize abundance, but grape clusters here. These people seem absolutely magical and beautiful. Let's take a look. And then they're sitting under this moon. I know we're having an eclipse coming. I don't know what day the eclipse is happening here, but it could be signifying some timeline here for you. Okay. And we have love at first sight. Oh my goodness, you guys. And look at this. Oh my goodness. Look at this very similar imagery. We have the light, the natural light of the moon casting on these beautiful couples. They're kissing, they're embracing. And here, the light of the lantern, which is giving me hermit energy, okay, is casting down on these two. Love at first sight. Beautiful. Wow. Wow, wow. Hopefully this remains in this beautiful energy. Divine masculine. Wow. And look at the sunlight coming through on his face here. Sunlight represents masculine energy. Okay, some Aries energy pulling through. And then we have you guys. Oh my goodness. Look at marriage. Okay, so marriage could symbolize just a union, could symbolize an official sort of coming together here. She's wearing white, which is the authentic self, the masculine, the feminine, commitment. Okay, and then we have unawakened divine masculine here. Okay. And then we have 101 and 2, being of service, responding to real needs, true altruism, self-care, love offering, humble charity, unconditional support. And look, she's washing his feet. Oh my goodness, how cute is that? All right. Return to the world, growth level. Number 2, Pisces, Libra energy pulling through, and the root chakra with the red here. This could tie back to this unawakened. On time. 15 and 6. So we have Capricorn and lovers energy here. Lovers, temporality, ego level, on time, perfect timing, at maturity, well-timed, right time, spot on time, accurate timing. Type 6, the loyalist, thinking center between mistrust and trust, with the goal, which is the high self. So divine timing unfolding here. Spend quality time together, on time. Listen and talk to each other. All right. And then we have 75 and 9 and 3. And it says disintegration, stress level, indolence, lack of energy, addiction, apathy, despair, anesthesia, and loss of meaning. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity with the solar plexus. And then we have the thread 70, or the number 7. So 7 is all about faith, wisdom, reflection, understanding, spirituality, personal growth, solitude. Okay, but I am being called to read the thread in the book here. Is it this? Yes. 70. All right. I think it's going to be right over here. It says, the path, the vein, the circuit. Life is a tangle. So much happens simultaneously and circuitously, leaving us grappling for meaning and direction in a network of distractions. When we connect to the energy of the thread, however, we strike the deepest vein in the body. Our whole being responds to its tug. Meaning is pumped through our bloodstream. Ooh, meaning is pumped through our bloodstream. Loss of meaning here. Okay, our mind and spirits are lifted. We remember who we are and what we came to this world to do. Be of service. Interesting. I just posted something on my community page in regards to being of service, being the ultimate. Okay, what we came to this world to do. Though this happens on the most profound level, it could be the simplest incident that activates the thread. A song, an image, a conversation heard in passing. No matter how confusing and multi-layered our modern lives become, if we are connected to the thread, we are free. Being tethered to it is the only anchor our heart requires. One light, the circuit of meaning within chaos. Oh my goodness, chaos came out for pile 1. When in dark, binding, frustrating, and taut. So it says, you may think you have to find the thread and pull it. Imagine, though, that it's already tied around you, waiting for you to follow it home. Recall a moment in your life when you felt fully alive. The thread is waiting for you amid the details of the memory. Wow, that's very, very powerful. And I'm seeing a reverse rainbow here. Okay, rainbow imagery is, to me, is like hangman, which is seeing the different perceptions and understanding the various ways we could see certain things. And so it could be very confusing during chaos, what's true, but it's like there could be many, many, many truths, from point A to all the way to point Z, or from the light to the dark. And we're having to really understand and see. But the red string of fate, it could be really tying two people sort of together, and it's transcending past this sort of earthly realm here, okay, with this thread. Wow, that's very strong messaging. And then we have the new pearl, which is 44. 44 is a master number. Integrity is a foundation. Treating the earth as home and a temple. Manifestation and leadership, which is this divine masculine energy. And the new pearl can talk through a process of agitation. This beautiful pearl is formed. Okay, because in the oyster shell, all the sand, and over time it like agitates this and makes this beautiful shiny pearl, which is looking a lot like your selenite here. Okay, but it's not a pleasurable process, because sand and agitation could be very irritating. Okay, very high irritant here. So we have choice. Okay, with all the star energy, Aquarius energy, healing energy. Healing heart, healing from heartbreak, freedom from toxic relationship or addiction. Get addiction in one of these. Was it this one? Yeah, addiction. Okay. Very fascinating. You're reading. This could be the one. Oh my God, you guys. You've already met the romantic partner you seek. Well. Spirit, interesting. And then we have Judge. Light attributes, balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power. Shadow attributes, offering only destructive criticism, misusing business, legal, or criminal authority. So I get Libra and some Virgo energy from the Judge. And then we have Moon and Mercury. So more Virgo and some Gemini energy. Moon is Cancer. Moon is feminine, emotions, okay, intuition. It could be the subconscious. It could be confusion with the moon here, illusion. Okay, so it definitely could be your thoughts are confusing or emotions here are being spoken. 11 again. 11's a master number, divine inspiration, synchronicity, the encouragements to keep going. And you had, I thought you had 11, did you not? I don't know where I thought I saw 11, but if you did have 11, 11 is symbolizing twin flame energy. So let me connect with your energy here. You guys can go straight away to your channeled message. This one also seems to be very, very clear here, but I do like to sit with it so that I could channel what this is, okay? Okay, pile number 2. Oh my goodness. Like I said in pile 1, I did this reading yesterday. Okay, I attempted, like I did it all the reading, 2 hours, and it didn't record. And so I never got a message like this. So I think these messages are very, very much meaning to come out. And I don't know what's shifted from yesterday to today because these messages are completely different. Completely different here, okay? So hopefully this is your message. Okay, but don't force it to be something that's yours, that's not yours, because I don't want to leave you in some sort of limerence or some sort of fantasy dream here, okay? So what's happening here? I feel like pile 1, and I do feel there might be a tie, and pile 1 might be older sort of energy, or at least this pile 2 could be what pile 1 is looking forward to in the future. Okay, because this seems like a divine couple here who have been through the ringer here. It's been very challenging, and of course, in order to come out the other side, sort of to find the value in what it is that is being manifested here, we go through an experience that's sometimes very unpleasant, like this pearl. And like I said in the card layout, the agitation of the sand within that oyster shell is creating this beautiful pearl at the end of it, something to show here, okay, to show in the 3D. So it could be we haven't seen anything in the 3D. There's nothing sort of value in the other end yet. We haven't experienced sort of the reward, if you will, okay? But this goes beyond all of this stuff. I feel like for this pile, unless this is your energy, I'm going to read it as the person you're sort of involved with. I feel like there's a divine masculine energy here, okay, that's been challenging. And I feel for a lot of you guys, addiction is really standing forward here, okay? But addiction doesn't necessarily have to be sex, drugs, rock and roll, although it could be. It could be a way of coping that is so addictive to us because it's been our only way. Okay, although I am getting very strong that it could be substance abuse, and we could fall back on that because we're numbing some sort of pain. Okay, I'm also seeing smoking. So this person could be a casual smoker. It doesn't necessarily have to be something for sure for all of you guys, but it is coming through. Okay, or the addiction could be, addicted to weed or smoking. Okay, but that's not really the main thrust of this message. I do feel like it was a way to cope, and I do feel like this person's been sort of in the dark when it comes to the truth of themselves. And this person is coming into their divine masculine. They're seeing themselves. Okay, now there is no question here that this person felt love at first sight and connected with you on a very deep level, even when this person was unawakened, okay, or like unconsciously sort of left in their vices or suppressing, denying, or running away from this connection, or numb, okay, because they could have just been totally dissociated from you. They don't have to be someone who is running necessarily. It could have been somebody who wasn't admitting their truths, or somebody who was just closed off, somebody who might have just been observing. Okay, I do feel like this person might have given up on themselves. And I feel like some of you guys could have had many points in time where you could have just given up on this connection. And maybe you're at a stage of, I don't see it in the 3D. I'm feeling kind of getting bored here with this unawakened masculine who seems to be not as invested or not seeing the truth of this connection. Or if he is, and I know he feels it, it's like, but he's not really acting upon this thing. And so I can't just sort of hold myself here in a point of waiting. Okay, so I feel like you guys have been very focused. All you'll know is your pile is like focused on being of service, offering your love however you could to this person. And I do feel to your environment, because I do feel it's coming from a very humble heart. And you've provided very much unconditional support to this person, not from a place of ego or need or desire, although it's a fine line between being fulfilled and filling our heart with experience, okay, or being that of a martyr and being of service to others at our own expense. And so I feel like you've been working through allowing yourself to be truly altruistic through this unconditional love, supportive energy. And I do feel for a lot of you guys guiding this masculine out of this state. Okay. And so, especially if this masculine was stuck in some sort of despair or addiction or very low point, could have been battling depression, even. It's like this numb self. Okay. And so you're almost coming through here, as Spirit showing me, as very heroic here, because I do feel like your investment in this masculine, and even if it was just being of service, however you did it, I don't know if you cooked for him, if you washed his feet, if you supported him financially, if you were a listening ear, or if you just didn't abandon, okay, or whatever you did, because I do feel you've done something here, okay? And I'm not talking about forcing him to commit to you and all of that stuff. I'm talking about the true part of this unconditional support came through a very open heart, a very humble heart here to listen and to support. And this energy has transformed this masculine over time. And so there was this very strong bond, okay, very strong union, instant knowing between you and this person. And you guys are very fated, okay, even when you guys didn't know each other. And so for some of you guys who are here, who don't know this person, okay, this person is tied to your fate. Okay, and this is like your twin flame coming through, but this is a very far than experience, because this has happened over time. Okay, so what's next is the forming of this pearl tied to this person by fate, regardless of what's going on here. In divine timing, the pearl is being shown, the fruit is being shown. And so what this is driving to is a conscious choice. This choice is your person and you coming online to choose each other. Because I feel both people are coming here online. Both people know that the other is sort of its dream, their wish, or they've been intuitively guided to each other. There's this telepathic knowing in the spiritual realm with the intuition that we both know the other person is our North Star, is our desire, is our wish, is the person I want to commit to and be together with here in the 3D. But I must go and experience the process of the healing. So very healing connection. Okay. And so I feel like there's been a lot of having to sit through the discomfort in order to get to this point. And I do feel like that there's a lot of this karmic energy that flows through, because I feel it's the divine justice coming through here, intervening with exactly what is just and delivering its divine timing. Okay. And so we might have had to work through a lot of our own projections, judgments, and I might have to really find balance in our emotions, balance in our mental thoughts, balance in how we, what we choose to say and do in the 3D. And really back up our being of service here from a place of unconditional support and love offering. Okay, and so if you're dealing with the masculine here, who I do feel could have been very, very confused, the situation could have been very confusing, and navigation through the intuition, a very, very deep emotional experience here that has remained constantly in the intuition, constantly sort of tied by this faded experience. And so it's been very much in the mind, it's been very much in the soul and the emotions, and it might have not have been experienced in the 3D. Okay, this is coming to be communicated out in the open in the 3D. And so you could definitely be having your masculine come forward with a communication here about how they feel, maybe for the first time. And for some of you guys, this could be a communication about their intentions of what they think, of what they want in regards to the future with you. And for some of you guys, this could be this masculine coming forward from a state of confusion, but where they were sorting through their confusion and their deepest emotions, coming forward with an offer of commitment. Okay. And so I feel like there is this divine, like I said, justice that is sort of being delivered here. And I feel it's been a long time coming. And I do feel like the highest potential of this connection is now coming online. But I do feel that it was having to start from a very challenging place with this root chakra. So we might have had to really work through, like I said, like abandonment wounds when it comes to how we deal with our, how we cope with our shadow. And there could have been addictions and all sorts of things in order to cope. Okay, because I do feel like your person could have been somebody who was unstable or dysregulated, or somebody you couldn't really trust to provide you with security or stability here, because this person couldn't provide themselves with some form of security or stability or officialness even. Okay, and so this 2 is really about choice. And the 6 is really about choice, because 6 is lovers. And when we choose in the lover's path, which is destined, always, by the way, the destined connection, the destined lovers, the destined fated connection here is only available when we see beyond the fear and we choose it consciously. We have to choose it. We have to say, Spirit, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to go after. Okay, like karmically, we don't just get pushed into a connection that we're not choosing openly and consciously. Otherwise, it's not this type of a spiritual, soulful, karmic experience that's unfolding. It's just your run-of-the-mill experience, okay? Which everything is sort of karmic, okay, because energy is always balancing. But I feel like this is highly, highly spiritual. It's very much, we would feel the intervention of the universe, almost like everything was sort of guiding me to this person. This person was guided to me. I feel there's been a lot of shadow work, a lot of reflecting. Okay, I feel there's lots of this. And so what's coming next, I feel, is commitment. I feel is a masculine coming forward from the shadow, from the darkness, from the confusion, from the uncertainty, from the place where maybe this masculine was really numb or just incapable of moving beyond in order to claim this connection. Okay, and so yeah, I do feel you already know this person for sure. Like it says over here, you've already met the romantic partner you seek. Okay, but like I said, there is a small percent of you guys that are coming to this reading. It's like what you have to sort of look forward to here in the distant future is that divine timing will unfold this partner that's going to commit to you for someone who has done all of the self-reflecting over time in order to present themselves to you as somebody worthy of experiencing your life with here. Okay, so I do want to tap into this energy and see what I missed here. Spirits for pile number 2. Now, what did I miss here regarding pile number 2 and what's happening next? Page of Wands in reverse. Interesting, because this came out for pile number 1, if you guys recalled. Okay, so let's put all the cards before we read it. Now, this is the Shuffle Tarot, and this is the baby from the Sun card. Okay, so inner child really comes through this this energy, but it's Sun energy. Okay, Sun is divine masculine energy. Sun is all about conscious awakening, and we have the unawakened here. We get the clarity when we have confusion here. Okay, the sun and the moon is the masculine and the feminine coming together. The page in reverse could be a block to communication, which I was really sensing here. Somebody who hasn't been able to communicate, or who has been numbed, or who has been sort of stagnant here. Okay, and it's like honing in what we know and what we understand, and being able to speak our truth or understand our truth. So someone potentially immature even with the page, okay, but immature when it comes to their development of communication, or their development when it comes to connection. Okay, very stagnant here. So find a place of quiet solitude and listen to the goddess of the moon. Is she calling for more love? Wow. So the moon is the feminine. I feel like your person wants to step up here, because I do feel they feel you've been calling. You've been maybe even disappointed, and your experience here has been nothing but maybe challenge and rough and agitation, and you've been just maybe losing hope, or seeing this person as, okay, like clearly this person is not changing their ways or beyond my help, but always having an open heart here to being of service. It's like this hasn't gotten lost. Your person does see this. Your person hears your energy. Okay, and I do feel when they're meant to come out, they do come out with this on time, because Spirit knows exactly the divine timing for this divine masculine to step into his power. So let's see, Spirit, what am I missing here for pile number 2? We have the 2 swords. There's that having to choose, and the blind justice here. And look at the hand bleeding, choosing this one sword. So again, this pain, this suffering. This person has a lot of pain here, because I don't feel this person has been clear, has been very confusing mentally, and also restricted when it comes to communicating their truth, speaking their truth, understanding it, and like taking action and being clear about where they want to go. Yeah, being clear. So we have the 7 swords in reverse, which is depicted by this 7 cup scene. Okay, and this 2 swords is depicted by the 2 of wands. And so the 2 of swords is very stagnant. It's stalemate. It's indecision. But in the 2 of wands, this is, we've already chosen, and we're ready to make a move, because we've chosen the wand. We've chosen the path. And instead of choosing the stagnant path, or the path that we are familiar with, we are considering, and we're choosing the path that we haven't explored, which is always pushing us outside of our comfort zone. It's more in line with our truth and authenticity. And so I feel like your person's going from a 2 swords to a 2 of wands, which is this choice and this decision your person has made. Okay. And I do feel it's coming from a place where they couldn't speak their truth, and they had a lot of confusion going on mentally inside their mind about what to say and what they think and how to act in their truth, but also very avoidant of stepping forward in this connection. And it's like, I'm going to take off my mask. I'm no longer wanting to be in this sabotage energy, and I want to come forward with the truth. Okay, 7 swords in the reverse. So why is this page of wands here in the reverse? We have the Queen of Swords in the reverse, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and she's depicted by this judge, okay, or justice, in the reverse. And then we have the 3 of Pentacles in the reverse, which is depicted by the 3 of Cups in reverse, which is this addiction, okay? Sometimes the 3 of Cups in reverse for me is over drinking. It could be busying ourselves with like our network of friends, partying, and maybe even not fitting in. For some of you guys, it could be removed, like an introvert, where we don't have our community of people. We don't feel welcomed by the people around us. We sort of feel ousted. Okay, but the Pentacles is how they're showing up in this connection, which has been not really carrying their weight. They have been not stepping up, and they haven't been clear to you. It's like, what do they want? And you know what karmically felt right or just here in some way, and they knew too. But it's like, I don't know, there's a lot of this not communicating, not coming forward, not being clear, not being certain, not understanding, not stepping forward. And now in the present moment, we have this Two of Swords, which is depicted by the Two of Wands. The Knight of Swords in reverse. So where they were really not being able to run with their truth and speak their truth, because I do feel they were too fearful, is what it feels like. Knight of Swords in reverse could be like ghosting or not confronting or just like detaching in some way. But we have the Death figure, which is all about releasing and putting an end to something here. Okay, why is the Seven Swords in the reverse? The Two of Pentacles, and it's depicted by the Two of Swords. Pentacles is the 3D world. And look how balanced this Two Pentacle is. And then the Knight of Wands, and under that is the Three of Swords. And this is depicted by the Three Pentacles. Okay. Very much overlap here. And look at the Magician. Lots of overlap here. So what's happening? I think your person has been very much in an energy that you'd be familiar with, where they were stagnant and stuck and not choosing and not clear. Okay, not telling you anything, not showing up in a way here that's been able to create something with you. This is about to shift and change, because I do feel like your person was needing time in order to find balance so that they could choose in the 3D world what it was that they were capable of doing, what they wanted to do. And I feel like they had to overcome a lot of this Three Sword energy, because I do feel like they're looking at how they've been showing up and what's created their Three Swords. Okay, because now they're awakened and they're seeing the Three Swords, because when they were unawakened, they're not connected to the pain. They're numb. They don't see it. They're unconscious, and they can be in this energy forever. But this connection has awakened them to see the Three Swords. What's their Three Swords? Their addiction, their despair, their depression, their avoidance, their dissociation, their need for healing. Okay, and so this healing heart is all about them healing from this heartbreak. Okay, and coming in, wanting to manifest with you from a place now that wants to repair whatever it was that it was not honest, not fair, whatever they were running from, whatever they weren't confronting, whatever they couldn't release. It's like, I want to choose this, even though there's a lot of pain that this person understands that they've created here. But unlike a divine feminine, when she's tied to divine masculine energy and she has to go through an awakening, it's not in the same process. It's different. It's not that the divine masculine mirrors and he goes through the whole thing as well. Whatever she heals, whatever she's been able to do in way of shadow work is done for the both of them. His own piece, though, is for him to work through his awakening, his own addictions, his own shadow, his fear of stepping forward and confronting and releasing what he needs to step into his power of divine masculine. And when he does, it's like he could see the suffering he's created. He could see what he did when he wasn't able to step forward and create with you, when he wasn't clear. Okay, and so this Seven Swords energy is the thief sort of returning the swords here. Now, does he sit and dwell and have to do all of this healing? No, he might just come and return the swords. It's like, I know now what's right and what's not right, and I feel bad for it. And so there is no need for this divine masculine to cry and overdo anything. Okay, because the power here is in what is he going to manifest now? What is he going to move forward with now? And it's like, now I want to face my truth. Now I want to be honest. Now I don't want to sabotage. Now I want to choose this connection from a balanced place in the 3D. I don't want to have to experience what I did in the past, or where I left this Queen of Swords confused. And I do feel like in the past, a lot of you guys might have been having to work through your anger, or your resentments, or your disappointments, or your challenge with this person saying, well, you're not really stepping forward. You don't really want to create with me. I don't really see a future with you. I don't really see you as a person here in the 3D I can work with. I've lost all hope, or I don't see clearly how this would ever happen. I'm saying, well, I'm going to have to choose this connection. And even though I don't see or understand fully that this would, pan out in a positive way, I'm being called to choose this connection and speak my truth and be honest about this, because the other way didn't work. The other way left me feeling 3 swords. And so I want this 3 pentacle, but I don't know that I was totally deserving of the 3 pentacle. But this is the only way that I can manifest forward. So I do want to see, why is there a blindfold on this one? Choosing this Ace of Swords here with the blood on it. What is this symbolizing here, Spirit, in regards to pile number 2's person? The Queen of Cups. Your person feels just very disappointed that they've hurt you. It's like their own pain in hurting you, It's like, I feel hurt because I hurt you by my actions. And the hand definitely talking about our own actions, our own accountability and responsibility for what we've done. My lack of truth, my lack of clarity, my lack of communication is causing suffering, has caused suffering. And now I feel this pain because you've been compassionate, you've been loving, you've been kind, you've been this beautiful supportive energy, which we're really feeling from this unconditional support. Love offering, self-care, true altruism, responding to real needs in this person's life. Okay, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And so I see this, I want to choose you. And maybe you've been sort of focusing your energy elsewhere, more on yourself, maybe more on servicing others, around you. I don't feel you've been rejecting this person. I feel like at one point in time, maybe you've been cold to this person. Okay, but maybe they're just feeling like your energy is shifting away from them when it comes to being available for their future. And it's like, I want to choose you. And I know I've created a lot of suffering here for you. So let's see this balance. 2 of Pentacles here. 2 of Pentacles is always a choice. And it is a card about balance and having to prioritize. And I feel like because it is balance, it's like I now can choose to be more balanced in the 3D here when I choose honesty, when I choose to come forward and not sabotage. Yeah, look at this Hierophant, commitment. Like I said, okay, King of Swords. And the King of Swords is communication and also the mental. The Mercury, communication and mental. This person has been confused. This person has been withholding communication and truths and clarity and withholding commitment. And so there's a higher level of commitment this person's wanting to come forward with in a more balanced way in the 3D and communicate their understanding of this to you. Okay, and it could definitely be the opposite of what they were doing in the past here for sure, because this is a non-committal energy because it's not showing up and working with another. And this is definitely avoidant. Okay, and not communicating our truths. And this certainly is avoidant and more running away from anything that we're needing to be honest about. Okay, but in the reverse, there's a truth that comes online here, regardless how painful. So we have Taurus energy and also Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Lots of Libra in this reading. Okay. But yeah, so this is it, you guys. Your person's coming forward with some communication, and for a lot of you guys, it's whatever the next level of commitment looks like, because they have been keeping things very confusing and very stuck for some time out of their own cowardness or fears or their unawakened self. Okay, so I feel like the more quality time you're able to make yourself available to this person, the more they can see through that fear, see through the pain they've created. It creates this pearl. Okay, because of course, if there were no oyster shells and no sand in there, it's going to create this pearl. The agitation is movement that's happening. It's an experience that happens over time. It can't happen just rapidly. Okay, now we know time doesn't necessarily exist here in reality, but it gives our 3D understanding of form so that our mind understands how things unfold. It's like divine timing is happening when this pearl is formed. which happens over a process of experiences. Okay, I don't know how many cycles, I don't know how many years, I don't know how many ghosting this person did or running away this person did, or how many times you were left not knowing, or that they didn't show up and left you sort of standing there, or how many times they went in no contact. Okay, but either which way, I do feel this is shifting very much so, painfully, and specifically your person understanding the pain they've caused you, because they can no longer avoid to see that. And that's the thing. It's like the blindfold here, but I still feel the pain. It's like whatever I didn't want to see because I was unawakened or avoiding, it's like I can't avoid it anymore. I feel it. I feel it. I feel the pain. I feel the three swords. I must take action here and right wrongs and come like this justice is calling me to do, this karmic need to commit to something greater than myself and be very honest here with what that looks like. Okay, pile number 2, I'd like to take this time to thank your spirit team, your higher self, and of course, my spirit guides and spirit for this act of divination. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number 3. You guys picked the glass heart paperweight with the ribs here. Absolutely beautiful. Let's take a look at the shift in your love life. Okay, so what's happening next here in your world when it comes to love and relationships and romance? So if you are not in a connection, then this is looking at who's sort of coming in energetically, what this person's about. So if you don't know this person that I describe here, could be somebody coming in new. Okay, but you have to sort of resonate with this energy being what you're experiencing in order for it to resonate for you. Okay, I don't want to give you guys any false information here, but for those of you guys who are in connections, then this could certainly be describing the person that you're involved with and how things will shift or change, or what will sort of happen next in this world. So what's going to happen next in your love life? And I'm totally blown away by all of these readings, like completely. Okay, so let's take a look. What do we have? Wow, I love you. These are powerful words. Number 20. What's interesting is I did this reading yesterday for Valentine's Day and it did not record. So it was like 2 hours of my time. This card came out. It came out. Okay, so interesting. Let's take a look and see what comes through. I love you. These are powerful words. And then we have Neptune with 62, or the number 8. So Neptune, very dreamy energy here. Could be very much in fantasy or in spiritual realms here, okay? Very watery. Pisces energy coming through. And also with the 8, we're getting some Leo and some Aquarius. And Pisces with the 2 there. And then we have triggered. And then we have I'm sorry, apology. Well, we have trigger and apology. Okay, and then we have soul purpose. Wow. Interesting. 2 people kissing, making up here. And then we have stability. It's really getting from this ladder here. The legitimacy of authority, security concept, self-confidence, a loyalty concept, mental calming, and finding support. Type 6, the loyalist thinking center between mistrust and trust. 33 and 6. 33 is a master number. Reproduction, creativity, humor, Christ consciousness, joy, harmony. 6 is lovers, and it could be double energy as well. Okay, so the choice to choose consciously, love. Okay, 6 is problem solving, compassion, harmony, love, healing, service. Beautiful. And then we have 82 and 1, marriage. Oh my goodness, marriage came out in pile number 2. So happy event, growth level, 82 and 1, marriage, holy matrimony, ceremony, wedding, wedlock, sacred union, official commitment. And it says, type 1, the perfectionist instinctive center between control and letting go. Right beside the gold's the silver. So the silver always gives me the lower self, and the gold gives me the higher self, okay, or the 3D self, or the self that doesn't reach its full potential. And then the high self is the gold, the potential that's reached or achieved in some way. Fascinating. So we have some more Gemini and some Virgo. And then we have Hypercreativity, 83, 2 and 4. Accepting one's emotions, existing by oneself. Originality, resource, standing out, self-knowledge. Type 2, the helper emotional center between giving and receiving. Integration, growth level. And we see a painter here. Hypercreativity, root chakra. All right. And then we have the dead end, number 40. Okay, and then we have the peacock's tail with number 55. 55 is the master number. Change is the only constant. Divinely orchestrated change. I get lots of Pisces from this rainbow here, okay? It was about a change of perspective or needing to see the various different ways, okay? Very iridescent, kind of like this rainbowy heart it's giving off here. Fascinating. And then we have abundance. 7 cups energy, but also this overflowing abundance that comes through. And look at this third eye is just overflowing, gushing here. Okay, yeah, look, hypercreativity. The third eye is just overly pouring out. Girl with a snake, empath and narcissist paradigm. Being charmed or used, enable boundaries. I'll put that with the trigger. And then we have pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. And then we have networker. Light attributes. Enhances unity through the sharing of information. Engenders social awareness and empathy. The shadow attributes conveys information only for personal gain. Spreads fear and falsehood. I do feel for this group, I do want to pull some tarot here first before I begin to channel. So let's see. Spirit, clear and concise message for pile 3 regarding what's next in their love life. And who could this person be that could be coming towards them? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3. So we have the 8 Pentacles in the scene of the 8 of Cups. And we have the 3 of Wands in the scene of the 3 of Wands. Yes, sorry. This is the Shuffle Tarot. It's like, what scene is that? That is the 3 of Wands. Why is this 8 of Pentacles here? What's this 8 Pentacles, 8 Cups feeling that I'm feeling here? King of Wands in reverse, clarified by this King of Squirrels. This is special in this deck here. And look, the Lovers from the Devil card is showing up here. And they're walking towards the sunlight. I don't think I have to cover that up. It's tiny enough here. Okay, and then why is this 3 of Wands here? So we have Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Yeah, and look at this Emperor here. Strong Leo, strong Aries. Why is this 3 of Wands here for pile number 3? We have the Knight of Wands, and this is the Magician here. Okay, let me channel this for you. Okay, pile number 3, there seems to be more news at 11, meaning there's more to the story that I'm not seeing. It sort of cuts out. I'll pull the tarot to see, because maybe there's limited space here, or maybe the main thrust of this message Spirit wanted to deliver first. Because I do feel like, obviously, you're here in regards to a love connection. Okay, and I'm really getting your energy coming online with this messaging, which is beautiful, by the way. And like I mentioned in pile number 1 and 2, I did this reading yesterday, 2 hours, and it didn't record. I was kind of like bummed out about it, but I just said, okay, obviously you don't need to hear it. And then today's readings are like, whoa, like completely sort of different. Okay, energetically, this one definitely is different as well. Although it is one that's closer to some of the readings that were done yesterday, but I do feel like this message is very specific here, okay? So don't take it if it doesn't feel like it's your message. And I feel like what Spirit's really talking about, I do get an experience that you've had that's disappointing with somebody here who has disappointed you. Okay, this is saying triggered. Okay, and this is obviously something that doesn't feel good. Okay, when it says girl with snake, empath, narcissist paradigm, being charmed or used. So feeling like we might have needed to put up a boundary with somebody. Okay, like the person most likely that you have experienced your last experience with didn't pan out here. Okay, and Spirit is talking about this person being somebody here who has been in shadow. Okay, who most likely owes you some form of an apology, but is still undergoing some of their reflecting and needing for them to sit with their own triggering here, because they might still be very much in ego and not at the point yet of coming forward with an apology. However, there will be a point in time where this person will resurface. And I think you already know they're going to resurface. So this is where I need more, because this is pretty much all I get from your past person or whoever you've been involved with, which I'm sure you might want to know, where's it going to go? There's more to happen with this person. Okay, but really, Spirit is talking about you and your energy here, because I do feel like this person is saying, you're really being connected to a part of yourself that could have been very dormant here. Okay, and obviously, since it's connecting to this person, this could have been a catalyst into this awakening of your creative self, because I do feel you're at a very creative, inspired energy to make magic in this 3D world through your means: music, painting, singing, dancing, art, whatever your thing is here, networking through people, your community. Okay, because I feel like either you're establishing a new community, you have a new community, or you're being called to work towards and walk towards your community, because it feels like it's going to be your new work. Okay, so it doesn't feel like work when we're doing what we love. Okay, but it does seem to be something that is either going to replace your work or something you consider as your work. Okay, day in, day out, you're going to be dedicated and committed to this project, this unfolding of something here. Okay, now for a lot of you guys, I do feel the experience with this person has been something that has been unpleasant for sure. And it could be because this person was not providing you with a level of stability or commitment. Okay, or that you felt you needed to put up a boundary in order for you to be more in line with something that you felt you were wanting, or that felt more aligned to you. And you're feeling like this is not going anywhere, or if I sort of hitch myself to this energy, I'll get sort of stuck here. And so you might have had to unwind yourself from a lot of like, I don't know, it's like, take a look at this, it's like feeling really in a spider's web, or entrapped in a whole thing here. Your person could have been very much creating a lot of sticky energy that was very hard to break free from. And it's like, I can't go any further with this. I have to distance myself. I have to just stop this thing. Okay. And I feel like your call to do this was much needed when it happened, in order for you to align yourself with a greater purpose of abundance here, which is unfolding. Okay. And if you haven't yet created the distance, now this isn't a distance from a place of vindictiveness. Okay, this is when we are triggered, we still have stuff, shadows, and we still have parts of us that need to be seen and understood, that we don't fully understand or see yet from a different perspective. And sometimes when we're immersed in whatever it is that doesn't feel good, we aren't really learning anything because we're too overwhelmed or too triggered. And so sometimes the break is in order for us to reflect, for us to gain better understanding, for us to create other things, for us to move the energy, for us to integrate what we've learned. And so I feel like the big message, your soul purpose, is what you're creating, what you're moving towards. You're encouraged to move towards it. You're being called to connect to your truest self here. And Spirit is really talking about your own energy being one that is strengthened through self-confidence, and calming your energy down so that you could become balanced, so that there could be some commitment that comes. Okay, so Spirit is promising you commitment. Now, is it this person? I don't know, because like I say, I read for soul connections that are very deep. And I don't want the wrong sort of person wandering here who is going to peg themselves to a person who is not meant for them, who makes them feel like this. Okay, but it is a fine line, because if you go watch one, we could feel like this and get very confused and think that person's not for us, and they're reflecting a part of us that we need to face about ourselves. And so this journey, because all journeys are completely different, for this group that I'm reading is so the soul purpose can come online, the mission, the creation, and sitting with one's truest emotions and being available to create the stability and the commitments to ourself, and to push beyond anything that might be up in the air, because I do feel like there is a lot of fantasy here. There's a lot of wishful thinking. There's a lot of 7-cup energy with this Neptune and the 7 cups here. Okay, which could mean not seeing the truth, avoiding what is true, and not paying attention to the red flags, not taking heed, and then getting stuck in the web and getting lost in the games, and then getting re-triggered, and then, like having to work through waiting for someone to say they're sorry, or we feel sorry because we got triggered, and that whole cycle thing. And so, yes, it's a part of the process. Yes, it's all much needed. And Spirit is saying at the end of the day, whether we're experiencing triggering, whether we're waiting for apologies, whether we're the ones that apologize, this is all about finding one's self. I love you. Okay, so if we can't love ourselves and truly feel it and act from that place, then we're still trying to learn certain lessons that we're fated to learn here. Okay, because I do feel this experience is making us see things differently here. And this isn't from a place, like I say, of I deserve all of this stuff because I want commitment in marriage, and therefore I don't know what unconditional love is. And if you're not filling my transactional need here, then I'm going to cut you out of my life and create all sorts of drama here because my ego isn't getting fulfilled and I'm more focused with transaction. No, this is talking about when I truly connect to the power of who I am, when I create my own stability. I don't need another person to propose to me or to create marriage or whatever. I create my stability. I create my own self-confidence. I create my own self-love. I don't get lost in some fantasy idea story. Okay, and I don't care if 99% of society has one understanding of marriage and commitment and what that looks like. That's a fantasy. Because unconditional love is unconditional love, meaning it's not transactional. It's not only based on what someone else can do for me and provide for me and make me feel like I can overcome some of my abandonment wounds by them creating some form of stability for me. I create my own stability. I have to be my own self-love. I have to find abundance for me. And once I do this, once I'm overflowing with this, then I welcome this opportunity. Okay, and so Spirit is saying you have an opportunity to have in the 3D a committed connection only when you lean into your own self-confidence, your own self-love, and commit to yourself. Commit to your soul purpose. Commit to what in the 3D you can focus on, because it's going to take you to your community and to who you're supposed to be aligned with. And so if you were experiencing someone who gave you a lot of red flags, but you were choosing to have rose-colored glasses or be in fantasy, know that if this person owes you an apology, if this person's destined to experience something with you, they will come forward, it will manifest, but not unless, or until, I should say, you have learned the lesson of self-love, authentic self-expression, and aligned yourself with your soul purpose. Because now you're telling Spirit, I'm choosing me, I'm choosing my soul purpose to deliver here on the 3D from a place of love, to develop my own self-confidence, that I know that I could stand behind myself and my own vision and create this thing. I don't need another person here to do anything for me or be anything for me or leave their third party for me. Okay, so if this is somebody in a third party or someone who can't commit or somebody who is acting 7 cups or doing whatever they're doing. I feel it's left you feeling very unstable and ungrounded and very much in their world and their web, having to navigate. It's like, no, release yourself. You don't need to be in their web. But remember that we don't know everything. And when we go through our soul's purpose and our journey, we start to see and understand things better about ourselves, about what we're meant to see, and then things shift energetically, especially if we're meant to connect with this person, which I do feel for a lot of you guys that I'm reading for. It is your person, this person here, but they're needing to really wake up and understand their own direction. Okay, and so if you're in a soul connection, your energy really influences your persons because divine feminine and masculine are meant to experience each other, are very tied to each other's energy. And so if you're lost, confused, and getting lost in the web, they're lost, confused, triggered, and also lost in their own web. So we must free ourselves, free yourself from the dead end. Go after your own happiness and self-love. Commit yourself to your project. Your person will come. Okay? Because like I say, I do read for twin flames. And so this is the angle that I'm coming from here. But I do feel like some people that might stumble upon this reading could really be anchoring themselves to just some person who's disappointed them and has nothing to do with their future. It's like, let that disappointment go. Okay. And we're not categorizing people as disappointing and I need to align myself with my ego's transactional needs at this time. This is saying this lesson is showing me that I need to get more in line with what I give to myself, that whatever I wanted this person to be, I have to be myself or give to myself. Because if your energy is this person did all these things that I didn't like, or that they couldn't commit, or they weren't official, or they weren't third party, or they used me and abused me, and then we point our nose towards another connection, we still haven't learned the thing, and we're being haunted by this thing. And so Spirit is saying this experience was waking you up to a greater commitment of yourself, of the power within you, so you can find your abundance through your soul's purpose, so you could find stability in yourself without another giving it to you. You could commit yourself to this. You don't need a commitment from another person here in order to feel valued or in order to be on mission or to be complete, especially when there's certain things we're not being honest about, because I feel your intuition screaming at you and it's wanting to take this energy to create. Okay, so it's saying create in the 3D, manifest in the 3D, align yourself with your soul tribe, move forward, walk away, because you're needing to get away from any environment that's not moving, it's not progressing, they're not committing, they're not growing, they're not doing whatever you feel that they're not doing, but it's like, okay, then you do it. Whatever you felt you needed from this person, you do it. You're needing to have an overflowing cup in all these areas. Okay, you need to fill your cup. And so let's see, Spirit, what am I missing here for pile 3? I feel I'm missing something in regards to this connection. 6 of Swords, moving on from difficulty and 5 Swords. What else? For 6 Swords, yeah, and this is the scene of the 6 Wands. So ego's in play here. And it's like maybe we got lost in ego, and it's time to move on from whatever we experience, but it's your time to be seen. Like 6 Wands, be seen, go on the stage. There's network here. There's 3 of Wands, which is moving forward and expanding our world here. And we see 3 people, which is giving me 3 cups energy, or network of people, or community, or we're being celebrated. You're creating something beautiful here. This is also giving me those little children. So the inner child's creating this beautiful thing. The Empress, love self, know self-worth, know our own boundaries. But what are boundaries? Is it from a place of shadow? Are we creating boundaries from a place of shadow or transaction? What I need to see from this person that I can't give to myself? Because yeah, look at this. The Knight in the shadow here, or the dark, is sitting in the Empress chair, and it's like the armor. And where's the Empress? It's like the Empress has to sit in her own seat. And I feel I'm reading for the Empress. Unconditional love of self, knowing one's own value. The Empress doesn't allow anyone to come sort of wander in her garden. She knows who is going to be able to mutually sort of enjoy her energy and that she can enjoy their energy. But when she's relying on the other here to proactively sort of do the role for her, then she's discounting herself. It's like, no, she's the one that's going to create the harvest here, okay? I'm also seeing lilies, white lilies, which is all about peace and forgiveness. So there might be a need for peace, forgiveness, compassion, definitely compassion with the Empress, unconditional love, sitting with her own harvest, not someone else creating the harvest. Okay, and I do feel you might be dealing with someone in shadow, someone defensive here, somebody who isn't showing up and they're just defensive. And it's like Spirit saying, you want something to shift? You want something to be successful? Go on the stage of your own life. Yeah, 7 swords. So the stage of your own life, meaning step out of sabotage. Because sabotage would be, I keep choosing somebody who doesn't show up. I keep convincing myself that this person is going to do this or do that for me. That's a 7 swords energy. That's avoiding me stepping into my soul's purpose and me and my great power and giving myself the self-love that I need. Okay, but this is the scene of the 7 cups. So 7 cups again coming through, which is confusion, open-endedness, not being clear and certain about the direction we're choosing. The star in reverse, Aquarius energy. And it's clarified by the King of Swords in reverse, which is the Hierophant figure here in this card. So we have Taurus and then Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Why is this Empress here? Taurus, Libra, by the way, with the Empress. Why is the Empress here? We have the Emperor and the Empress. Oh my goodness. And he is in reverse. And why is this 7 swords here? Why is the 7 swords here, Spirit? And this is the Chariots. And look, you see Emperor didn't show up. Chariot's all about success. 2 cards of success and victory. But the Chariot's in reverse here. Ace of Wands, new beginning. It is in reverse. And then we have the Squirrel of Wands. And look in the distance, we have an Ace of Cups, new beginning. A new emotional new beginning. 2 new beginnings here. Okay. This is so far away here. Ace of Cups all about self-love. Okay. And the acorn can definitely talk about something taking a lot of planning and time to pan out here with this squirrel. He harvests his acorns. So, all these little hairs. Let me sit with this energy and channel what Spirit's talking about here, because I know you wanted to hear more about your person here who's been MIA and you've been relying on to show up and fill some spot for you. Judgment. And the devil here, Capricorn energy, the awakening. Okay, there's definitely more that we're not getting of this story, okay? I just said story. So Spirit is talking about your beautiful energy and the person that you're dealing with here, who's MIA, who's not showing up. I feel like this person is definitely stuck in shadow and very defensive, and Spirit saying, let them be, let them be. This isn't indicating to you your self-worth or that things aren't working out. And I feel you're losing hope. And you might even be just no longer sort of seeing how this could pan out. And you're like saying, there's no future. It's not going to pan out. And this is a dead end. And I've lost all hope. And they're hopeless and helpless. And they're not committing. And they're not telling me anything in regards to what they want or where it's going and blah, blah, blah. And then we can just totally ride that wave. Okay, and Spirit is saying when someone's in shadow, when someone doesn't show up, the universe has them. Trust in the divine working with your person here. The only thing Spirit wants you to focus on and what you will be working through next year in your love life is you filling your own Empress seat, because your Emperor to your Empress is going to show up. He is going to show up. You will have a new beginning, but only when you learn about self-love and filling your own cup. That is the success. And so we might have to get it through confidently stepping on the stage, being seen, being celebrated, enjoying our own life, seeing our own value, coming out of a state of maybe where we were too dependent on someone else being the validator of us and whether we're successful or not. and then getting stuck to that sort of paradigm or that understanding. And it's like your success will show back to you through your experience here of trusting yourself to have wins, to back up your soul's purpose, your mission. And the more you sort of grow on your confidence, the more you fill your Empress seat, the more abundance you're going to experience here, the more you're going to see through the illusion, the more pointed you'll be in the direction you're wanting to go. And then when you're ready, the universe will hand you with this beautiful new beginning. This is going to take time. You cannot rush this. It's a process here. Spirit wants you really to focus on the process. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, it is work. Okay, but it doesn't feel like work when it's a creative pursuit. It's like really immerse yourself in that, because all of that energy will pan into your own confidence in yourself, your own self-love, and you'll finally have this awakening or this realization. And when you have this realization, you'll see very clearly. It's like, I can now see whether I'm committing myself to things that are unhealthy, or attachments, or obsessions, or people that are not necessarily for my greatest or highest good, or people who are not necessarily choosing me. And you'll get to see, and only when you get to see this clearly, and then the door opens to the next chapter. But I don't feel you're seeing it clearly. I feel you're still under confusion because you still don't see your own self-worth. You still don't understand in the, I gotta commit to myself. I gotta fill my own cup, my own love of self. It's still very much dependent on being validated and seen by other. This is what's going to make me feel a certain way, and that's false. No. And as long as you believe that, as long as your energy is giving this off, even if you tell yourself something else, because you could be lying to yourself or in denial, it's like, as long as you don't truly feel it, Spirit will know you're not there yet. And Spirit says, when you're there will be no mistaking what you see here. You're going to be awakened to the truth. And then you can consciously choose. And then Spirit comes out of nowhere, like this hand from the sky. The universe comes out of nowhere, comes some opportunity for love. Okay, and the love is a new beginning here, because you've been able to work through whatever you're needing to work through here. And it is a new beginning, a passionate new beginning. And Spirit wants to hand this to you. And it will be your emperor to your empress. So if you do feel like this person is your emperor, which for a lot of you guys, I do feel it is, it's just this person's in shadow. This person is stuck. This person is needing a lot of healing here. Okay, because I do feel like the big thing here is the argument, or the not seeing, is how do we commit? And what is the truth to higher commitment? And Spirit is coming online, giving you the answer. What's the truth to higher commitment? You getting stable in yourself, you loving yourself, you seeing beyond your own ego, you moving from anybody who treats you not good, or is toxic, or situations you're obsessing about, or in fantasy, or rose-colored glasses, red flags, seeing beyond that, moving on from it, tells the Spirit that you choose yourself. I choose me, Spirit. Why? Because I know I could create my own stability. I could commit to myself. I could love myself. I don't need someone else to do this for me. But I don't lose hope that I'll ever find it. And I also don't go seeking it from someone else, because then I haven't learned the thing I was being meant to learn, which is all about unconditional love of self, so that I can be available to other. That's what journey you're on. And magically, the minute we learn this lesson and understand it, the harvest comes, and so does the emperor, because the emperor gets out of shadow and he shows up. So your emperor will show up, but he's stuck here as long as you're stuck, and unhealed as long as you're unhealed. And in shadow and avoidance, as long as you're in shadow and avoidance. And I feel there's two people in shadow and avoidance here. Okay? And we're avoiding committing to ourselves. We're avoiding loving ourselves. We're avoiding our soul's purpose and mission, because we're staying in a fantasy, or like waiting for someone to wake up, or to apologize, or to change, or to do something, or to commit to us. And this is the only thing I need, is this commitment. Meanwhile, it's a hierophant. It's like nothing but a social construct. We don't need anyone to give us anything or commit to us in a certain way. Then we'll feel a certain way. It's like, no, we could feel that way today. You could feel love today. You could feel abundant today. You could feel seen today. You could feel joyous today. It's always an option for us, but we have to connect to our own self-love. We got to get busy doing this, okay? And so I feel like there's so much energy coming through your reading as like creative energy, like this fire to create. Like, I think you're right at the precipice of creating like the masterpiece, the book, the song, the art. Like, you're really, really at this point, and this is where things shift. It's like, universe, I'm claiming this project, this soul purpose, because this is for me. It's like, great. The universe celebrates you and says, yay, yay, you chose yourself. This is what self-love's all about. This is saying I love you to the universe, you know? Your own authentic self-expression comes through what you create with your vessel here on earth. Yes, Spirit's acting through you, but it's very unique through your own creation, your own voice, your own hands, your own energy of working with Spirit. And this is the best way to show the universe that you love yourself and that you love the person that you want to see healed, or that you want to see successful, or that you want to see movement with. Okay, so if we truly love the other, we have to truly love ourselves. Otherwise, we don't truly love the other. We're more concerned with ourselves and another person sort of having to do something for us. It's like, no, that's not unconditional love. That's love with conditions. Okay, so no conditions, opening the heart space, connecting to self. What can I do for me? The power's in your hands. And don't get in denial. Don't start getting lost in the fantasy, and remove the rose-colored glasses here. This doesn't mean when you remove the rose-colored glasses, there's no more hope, there's no more future with this person. No, in fact, it's the opposite. The minute you remove the rose-colored glasses and release, the minute you have your emperor. Okay, no doubt in my mind the emperor is coming here. You're creating a block by showing the universe, I don't choose me. I'm not choosing me. I'm not seeing my own self-love because I'm too much busy in the devil. Chained to the devil, okay? That's not a healthy way to be engaged in connection. So, beautiful angel, what's next in love is this lesson, okay, and how it unfolds for all of you guys. And I'd like to take this time to thank your higher self, your spirit team, my spirit guides, and of course, Spirit for this act of divination. Thank you so much, and I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye.